Hi, I'm Emily. I am a professional psychic. I've been a professional psychic for 10 years and a practicing psychic for a lot longer than that. I feel like we need some grounding today. Tool acquired. Here we go. Hi. Hi, I'm Emily. Welcome to my channel. I am a professional psychic and I have been for over 10 years at this point, and a practicing psychic for a lot longer than that. And what I specialize in is helping you to access your psychic abilities and make your life more magical in the ways that are as simple, easy, and effective as humanly possible, because I deeply believe all of this stuff is way overcomplicated and it doesn't need to be. In my experience as a psychic, one of the number one questions that I've gotten from the hundreds, if not thousands of clients I've worked with, but also all of the different people online and in any different spaces, is what are spirit guides? How the heck do those things work? Do I have them? Does everybody have them? How do they interact with us? What's their role? How many of them do I have? How do I get them? All of those types of questions are questions I have got a ton. So in interest of not making this video like 4 hours long, I'm just going to give you a very, very basic introduction. I'm calling it Spirit Guides 101. Where I'm going to give you as much info as I can while keeping it as simple as possible that will help you start to connect with your spirit guides and have a deeper understanding of them. It's not going to answer every question you possibly have, but we're going with the basics because that's where we all need to start anyway. Also, before I continue, thank you so much for being here. If you could please like, comment, follow, and then also click the little notification bell thingy so you know every time I post a video. That would be incredible. I'd really, really appreciate it. Most of my followers, most of my original content was on a different platform. The short form video one. I don't know if I can say that on here or not, but we're going with it. So if you're coming from there, amazing. I'm so happy to see you. So excited you're over here. If you're not coming from there, if you're a new follower, this is the first time you're seeing my face, hi, welcome. It's such a pleasure to meet you. I'm going to be doing a ton more on this channel in the future. A couple different areas that I'm really focusing on as well is we're going to do a lot of stuff with channeled history. Basically, I'm a historical medium, so we talk to people who existed and lived in a very, very long past and kind of bring in some history and information that they give me. And a lot of that does go with some travel content because I do travel as well and do a lot of this work. So channeling ghosts, channeling people that lived in the ancient past, that's a focus of this channel. We're also, of course, going to focus quite a bit on psychic stuff, magic stuff. And then I also have a very, very deep passion for fiction books because fiction books heal us. They are the most tangible form of magic that we have. And I read a lot of them. And so I'm going to recommend a bunch of those to you on this channel as well about how they can help you, how they can activate you, what elements make a book very magical versus just kind of mundane, vice versa, all of that fun stuff. So thank you for being here, and I can't wait to share more of all of this magic with you. Yeah, okay, let's talk about spirit guides. So on a very base level, what the heck are they? Who are spirit guides? What are they? The most common term that people associate with spirit guides are like guardian angels. And I will say that that term is a very organized religion-based term, and it's not particularly accurate. Also, I'm not going to go off on that tangent fully, but angels are their own race of beings. There's a whole bunch of them, not just the ones you have probably heard about. There are many, many different types of angels. They kind of live in like a neighboring realm to ours. Kind of think of like the way the fairy realms are kind of neighboring. I'm not going to go off on that tangent fully, but very basically, angel realm, kind of same deal in my experience. But that's not what we're talking about really when we're talking about spirit guides. Some might have a guardian angel role or even be angels, but that is kind of the quickest and easiest touch base I can give you. If you've ever heard of guardian angel or guardian angels, that's kind of the idea with spirit guides, but there's a lot more intention with that. Before I say anything else, you have spirit guides. We all have we all have spirit guides. I have channeled thousands of people, as I've mentioned, but I've also even tuned into some not awesome people, serial killers, things like that, just to see if they've had spirit guides too, because I was particularly pissed off. That's a story time for a different day. But just know that every person I've ever channeled, whether they've been a client, a friend, someone who lived a long time ago, you name it, everybody has spirit guides in some capacity. Couple misconceptions on that. They're not sitting there reading your mind. They're not sitting there knowing every thought you're going to have. They also aren't controlling every single movement of every single thing you do throughout the day. Those are the common things that people jump to in fear when I mention spirit guides of like, whoa, oh no, they're going to know everything I've ever thought that has been bad or negative or whatever. Or, oh no, they're going, they've been controlling me my whole life. Awesome, I've never actually done free will. Those are all limiting beliefs. We reject those. Thank you very much. What spirit guides do, however, is they will help you with various aspects of your life that you have a contract with them to help you with. So whether you have 2 spirit guides or 750 spirit guides, you can have any amount of guides depending upon what you decided on for your journey here in this lifetime. They will help you with certain elements. Typically, one guide doesn't do everything. It's usually multiple guides doing, their areas of expertise, their zones of genius to help you out. Most of the time, we do have protector or protectors. Those are a common role for guides, as well as guides that help us with like our 3D mundane earth life stuff, where we live, where we work, what we eat. Again, one or many that helps specifically with those things. We usually will have a spiritual guide, as in a spirit guide in its truest name sake, which will guide us in our spiritual growth, our energetic growth, our emotional understanding, things like that nature, or more, one or more. And we'll also have guides that, help with our own unique circumstances as well. Whether if you're a very anxious person, maybe you have a guide or a couple guides that help quell that anxiety or help bring in the lessons that you need to do. Maybe you have a guide that acts like a bookkeeper and kind of keeps track of your map and the things that you're supposed to hit and when you're supposed to hit them. However, one thing that is common with all the different guides is they don't always stay with you 24/7 all the time. You will have some that have been with you since you entered on planet 24/7 all the time. There they are. You will also have some that maybe come in and out only when you need them, only when their zone of genius is activated, only when they need to give you a specific message, or when you ask them to come in to help with a certain thing. Sometimes we have guides that come in and give us one message and then never come back again, but that's still considered a guide because they signed on to give you that one message at that one time when you needed it, which was a inherently guidey thing to do. But there is no rules with spirit guides or with spirituality in general. Rules are a very human construction. There's not everybody has 15 guides and they each have a guide that fills these 15 roles. That is not a thing. And if anyone else ever does say that to you of everybody has this many guides and they all perform these roles, I would really question where they got their information, because I have tried for so many years to try to put guides in buckets and roles and try to figure out how it all works together and if there is any similarities between everything. The only similarity is that we've all got them. That is literally the only one that I've found. There's some commonalities sometimes, but it is not always a hard and fast rule of they have to be this type of being or they have to do this thing for us or X, Y, and Z. There isn't really a concrete rule nature there, which I know for a lot of us living a very human existence can be very anxiety inducing, right? We're like, oh, what do you mean there's no rules? I need rules. I need to know how they're going to interact with me. That's where developing a personal relationship with spirit guides come in. That's why it's so important to do that, so you can actually understand what you set up for yourself. Because at the end of the day, the way that it works, at least from what I have channeled, what I have seen, what I have tuned into, what I've been told from guides and other beings in the universe, your higher self, before you decided to do this incarnation, was like, hey, I need some guides to help me. I need some beings that will understand the whole lay of the land, what exactly I'm doing here, and help me hit the key things that I'm looking to hit, or help me learn the lessons I'm looking to learn, or make the impact I'm looking to make, whatever it is your life path purpose is. Side note, if you have questions on that, I'm happy to do a video on how to understand that more. Let me know in the comments. But your higher self basically was like, all right, we need some beings to help with this. Now, in order to find those beings, your higher self may have gone to people or beings you may have incarnated with before in the past, in past lives you've had. It may have gone to beings that really specialize in the type of thing you're looking to have, whether or not you've worked with those beings before. It may have gone to even deities or things like that, where they're like, oh, you definitely are going to help them discover their divine feminine presence or their divine masculine presence or whatever. The biggest thing with this to keep in mind is it is contractual connection. It is a terms and agreement that you both have filled out and agreed to and signed, and it's done. It's not something you need to worry about. You're not going to piss off your guide. There's nothing you need to owe them in order to get their help. Treat it like a friendship. That is the biggest tip that I can give you as far as understanding your guides, and the easiest way to do that goes. Treat it like a friendship. What would you expect from a friend? You would ask them things, they would give you answers. Occasionally you need to give them some answers. If they come through, if they're trying to talk to you, you listen. The more you grow with it, the more nuanced and expansive it's going to be. But at the end of the day, you want to start thinking of it as these friends that are there to help you, that do have more knowledge than you do of what the heck is going on Earth life plane. The main thing that I want to get across with kind of all of this little bit of unstructured rambling I'm giving you about spirit guides is basically, one, they're here to help you. you know them, you've at least interacted with them before you enter on planet, even if you haven't interacted with them yet. And two, their help can be, you can ask them for their help. So moving on to kind of the next portion of this video, I want to talk about how spirit guides actually show up to help you. So our spirit guides actually interact with us quite a bit, and I'm guaranteed that they've interacted with you before, but it's not necessarily what you might imagine. Like, it's not this idea of like, oh, they come in and they stop you before you're going to make a big decision. You see them in front of you and you're like, wow, okay, guide, I won't do that anymore. It's not quite like that, because that's not how our earth life works at present. I think historically it did. That's a video for another day. But at present, that's not how it really functions. So ways that you may have had their communication before. Those lucky chance encounters where things did just work out, things that you would call maybe guardian angel moments, that would be your guides interacting, stepping in. I do want to mention guides can be family members, but that is not super duper common. Like, yes, your family members who have passed can help you in other ways. They don't typically fall into the same role as a guide does sometimes, but not as often. Sometimes you might be like, I know that was my grandma that stepped in and, you know, protected me in that car accident or whatever. If you know it was your grandma, fantastic. I'm not saying she's not your guide that stepped in and did that. I'm just saying sometimes your guides do that. Sometimes ancestors can do that too, but they are kind of different buckets. Like, I literally channel them through different rooms in my brain when I channel them in. But those chance things, those I just got lucky, those I narrowly escaped moments, those can be ways that your spirit guides really showed up. Those are the big things. Those are like the low-hanging fruit where it's like, oh yeah, I know that there was something there protecting me. However, there's also small things. Sending you your favorite song every time you're sad. Sending you validations often to validate that you're not alone. Those can be synchronicities. Those can be repeating numbers. Those can be little things like that that just make you feel connected, that make you pause and go, whoa, okay, I've seen this number a whole bunch today. Don't know what's going on with that. Or every single time I hear this sound is right when something cool happened. Whatever it is, those types of validations and synchronicities are really common, and how they interact with us a lot, especially when we're not necessarily privy to the fact that they're helping us or to the fact that they're there. Pings, where it's just like, I just know this, or I got this image and I need to act on it. Those sorts of pings, pushes, gut instinct stuff, a lot of that can come from your spirit guides. They are kind of the easiest touch point for your spirituality. If you think about it that way, itch in my nose. Okay, if you about it that way, they're kind of the easiest touch point for your spirituality. What I mean for that is it's oftentimes a lot easier to talk to your guides than it would be to channel in a random deity out there, or channel in even a past loved one, or, you know, do some work with some extra dimensional beings or some fae or whatever it is that you're looking to work with. Your spirit guides are there and they want to communicate with you anyway. So that is sometimes the easiest people, beings that exist around you that you can talk to. And a lot of people get their start in spirituality diving into understanding their spirit guides and the beings that are helping them, because it is safe, it is comfortable, they know you, they want to interact with you, and they're already interacting with you right now. One thing that I do recommend doing is think back on all the different times in your life where you have been divinely supported, where things have worked out for you, where maybe something you weren't expecting to happen but did happen, it turned out for the best, kind of show up, and think back on those experiences. It can even help to make a list of them, like physically on paper. Handwriting is super special. You can also do it in your keyboard. It's totally fine, but like actually write them down. And that's when you can start to notice, like, wow, how supportive you have been, how much support they're offering you and trying to give you on a day-to-day basis. It's a really, really helpful exercise. And then you start to notice it a lot more because you've kind of given your brain permission to perceive it as the help that it is. It also helps you manifest things, a whole bunch of other stuff, because you have concrete proof that you are divinely supported. They can also show up in dreams. Now, dream spaces are super activated spaces. I can do an entire series on dreams. There's so much information I could give you on the dream space, but oftentimes our spirit guides do give us messages in dreams. That doesn't mean you had to see them in the dream or talk to them in the dream or even know that they were in the dream present with you. Sometimes they aren't even. It's just in the dream space, they're giving you messages that you need. So you wake up and you have some clarity on something or guidance about something. Oftentimes people find that they will wake up with a song in their head and the song means something to them or has important words or messages from them. That is typically spirit guide communication. So there's tons of different ways they're already interacting with you, already supporting you, already guiding you. And I don't want you to get stuck into the trap of thinking like, oh, I need to ask them for the help before they're going to do so. They're already there. They're already helping. You already contracted them. It was just you before you came on planet. So now it's just a matter of, oh, I can lean in and develop that relationship. So let's talk about some ways to develop your relationship with your spirit guides. These are just a quick couple tips to get you going. Again, this is a Spirit Guide 101 video. I am not going super duper deep on any of these topics, but these are just quick little ways that you can start to interact with your spirit guides and get more clarity and guidance from them. The first tip I have on this is actually tell them how you would like their guidance to come through. Time is weird and different for beings that are not incarnated here on plane, and oftentimes they don't understand everything that we need in a human space. We need a lot of stuff in a human space, and they don't necessarily understand that. So if you're like, hey, I really don't want you to say anything to me that I can hear in my ears, that freaks me out. However, I'm good with nudges, or I'm good with dream space stuff, or I'm good with just knowings, whatever it is, just please don't say anything to me in my ear. Or, hey, I'm really good with nudges. Could you please give me some pressure for yes, or like make me feel cold for no? Anything like that that will like expand and make you feel comfortable and confident. You can absolutely lay out those boundaries for your guides, and that is going to make a huge, huge, huge difference. Another awesome tip that I want to recommend, don't treat them like Santa Claus. Don't sit there and be like, anytime I need something, I'm just going to ask them without actually communicating in between. It's not that that's a bad thing. By all means, ask them for the things you need. Please, please, please go for it. Do not refrain from asking them for their help. Please do. But the more you make it a conversation, the more you actually ask them questions about themselves or talk about mundane things. The amount of times I've asked my guides what I should wear today is unreal. So many things. That's good. That's helpful. That's going to make you a more expansive, connected person, because you're actually viewing them as beings out there helping you and not like wishes on a star. Which if you're viewing them as wishes on a star, it's harder for your energy to get on board to receive their pings back, because it feels one-sided, and therefore your energy, your brain, whatever is blocking you might be like, no, we don't want anything back from you. We're just sending this away like a wish on the star. That's not what we're doing. That's not it. I annoy my spirit guides sometimes intentionally, because I find it fun. They get annoyed at me because I find it fun, I think, for the most part. But keep in mind that unless you're like intentionally trying to annoy them, your questions, your need for reassurance, your need for validation, they signed on for this. It's okay. At the end of the day, they're the magical, omnipotent ones. They're the beings that know the whole thing that you're doing here. It is not your job to get the communication correctly. Like, you don't need to be hard on yourself. Like, I need to make sure that I'm understanding them correctly. If you don't, that's on them. They need to fix that. Blind trust is not a requirement when it comes to spirit guides. I want you to just like rework that out of yourself right this moment, because it's not a requirement for you to blindly trust in everything that you get from them. You can get a ping and be like, hey, I got a ping. Can you validate that for me? Totally fine. You can be like, I'm having a really, really hard day and I need some reassurance that things are going to be okay. Just do something magical. Please make something magical happen in my life. Totally, totally fine. Also, lean into the things that feel good for you. Do you want to communicate with them through tarot cards or oracle? Do you want to communicate with them using your pendulum? Or maybe you're a dowsing rod person, or maybe you're like a crystal person or a channeled writing person. Maybe you've never done any of this before and you're just starting out. Think with intention. That's enough. You can say out loud, you can think with intention. Just starting to have that direction in your life is going to make such a huge difference. So that is some basic bare minimum information on spirit guides. I know there's a lot more, and this video probably gave you a lot of questions. Hopefully it answered some of them as well, but there's probably a lot of questions that you have. Please comment them down below and I will try to go through and either respond to comments or make more videos on it. Either way, it's totally fine. I know it's a very big topic, and it's also a topic that gets a little gatekeepy. Like, sometimes people don't get super open about the information. I think everyone should know all of the information that I can possibly give you with all of my experience backing it. So please let me know what other questions you have about spirit guides down below. And also tell me like what ahas or if anything in this video did click for you, because I'd love to hear that validation as well. And know that I can, help you out, or anything with ways that I worded or channeled something in is beneficial for you. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. And yeah, I hope you stay around. And don't forget, you're magical as fuck. Have an amazing day. Mwah.